So, welcome back to part two of trying to Americanize this very European freight depot. Now, in the last one, I said I was going to put this in the freezer and to remove all the European style wooden framing that almost like you see in a lot of Germanic buildings. Here it is here. I'm saving the gate part. That's going to go on here. But the freezer made this easier to pop out of the where it was glued down and pop it out. So after I cleaned all that up, I removed the shutters from either end. They were the hardest part, actually. They were very difficult. And I'm going to have to rescribe these lines here. I took these valances or wherever they are off the end of the roof. Same here, they'll be replaced by something later on. And then I applied when it was cleaned up, I applied the brick paper. Now the brick paper is my favorite type, which is made by Nock in Germany, and it's 3D carbon platen Ziegel, and it's a very weathered looking brick. Very useful. I've used this in a load of projects. The brick is old, weathered, dirty, crumbling, which is I want to give a sensation of ancientness. And I glued this round all four sides. And you can see already it looks quite different. It's a very different vibe than what we had before. I also removed the slates off the roof, and there was a thing covering this here. This is going to be a whole new roof made from, well, simulating tar paper you see in all the American industrial buildings. So be timber on top, or wood frame on top, brick center, stone bottom. Now I will be painting this. You see this in a lot of these older buildings. They're basically, sometimes they're wood, sometimes they're concrete. And in this one, I'm going to make this wood. The stop of a truck or something heavy hits against a building from damaging it, almost like a buffer. And it will be painted the same color as the loading dock. Now, the loading dock, I'm very happy with. It's made out of strip wood. Now, if you want to buy an expensive strip wood, you can. But I make these from coffee stirrers. They're basically free. And when you buy your coffee, just hang on to them, keep them. I have a friend who runs a coffee shop, and I asked him for them, and he gave them to me. So basically, what you do to get more or less something that's a very useful size for HO, they're too wide like this, is to score a line down the middle, and then continually scoring it until it splits in two, and you're left with half that distance. And then you have these something like this, about this thickness, and that's ideal for this kind of building. So that's how I made the loading deck from basically wood, and I deliberately left gaps between the logs, between the planks, to make them just to give it that kind of rusticy effect. At the front, I built the framing from the same thing. I cut half this again to have these supporting struts here. And I will paint this and this wooden section here the same color. I made the loading dock a bit wider than the one because I didn't think it was wide enough anyway. I want to be able to put barrels and maybe some people on this, and I'll be reinstalling the door halfway open, or a little bit open to about here, so you can you can peek in. I might do that. I might close. I'm not sure. I might close it up. And notice how I didn't do the white plastic strip surround here, because we're going to have the extension built onto here. We're going to make this a bit bigger. Now I haven't decided whether to do this with brick or wood, and I think I'm going to do it with wood, and I think I'm going to be maybe trying it with the strip wood. We'll see, and how I feel about it. But I'm delighted with how it's come out so far. It's moving in the right direction, and it just goes to show you that it's already looking very different. It still looks very European up here, but we will change that. Don't worry, we will change that. I'm even thinking of extending this front roof here a little bit further, so it kind of covers the loading dock area here. I'm thinking about that, but there will be a new roof here and an extension here. So that's it. You know, I did the corners here with a different kind of brick paper, brick card. I don't know who makes this one. It might be Olgahan, I think the name of the company is, though, but don't quote me on that. But it was just to cover the corners, to dress, like, it looks like dressed brick. Everything, now that's shiny, the knock carton platter, but that will be sprayed. Everything will be sprayed in the end with matte varnish. You can see the actual back of the card there. I covered up the rear door because that would be for loading trucks, but I've decided if you're going to load a truck, you could load it from here, or you can take it down on the handrail and load it here. And also there will be a section here, so it didn't really need the exit point here. That'll be at the back of the layout, so it's just been done for rudimentary purposes. So it continues on its attempt to become an American citizen, and it's getting there, and hopefully it'll be fully assimilated by the time I finish the next part of this project. So the next part of the project will be the roof, and also a few details, perhaps like a stovepipe coming up from the side, and we'll finish up with painting and weathering. So the roof, the front door, and the extension will be next. So stay tuned, and hopefully this will inspire you to look at some European kits, and maybe if you want to put them on a non-Germanic layout, it is possible, it can be done. These tiles are definitely very un-American, and that will just fixing that alone will change this drastically. Okay, take care. Bye bye.